Hi, thanks everybody for coming today and joining us. My name is Jack Johnson with ActiveVideo Networks. I'm going to talk a little bit about CloudTV H5 platform and what you can do with it. I'm not going to get in too much detail of how to develop for the platform because really it's essentially what you're doing today. If you're building applications for the web or the internet, you're all set. We pretty much follow the same workflow, use the same tools, etc. Quick show of hands. How many of you here are developing or planning to develop apps for interactive TV or smart TV platform? How about mobile devices? So the majority are mobile. So the good news is mobile development now, it's really, as the applications have become more and more complex, you're getting into a model of a hybrid model where you're moving a lot of the logic and intelligence to web services and APIs that are on public web servers. So all of that effort that's been put into mobile application development now can be leveraged for our platform as well, because we are essentially a browser in the cloud. So you'll be able to repurpose a lot of the efforts that you've already put out there and then into place for the mobile platform. So we'll start with what is CloudTV H5. Any of you aware of it or had any exposure to CloudTV? Other than the two in the back row there. So what it is, it's a total cloud solution. Unlike a lot of the devices that are out there now that are building a browser into their device, we are a browser in the cloud. So there's no rendering that takes place on the device itself. It just decodes a video. The rendering and the compositing of the application is done in the cloud, delivered via an H.264 or an MPEG-2 stream to that device. All that sits on that client or on the device is a really thin client, 100K to 200K. Tracks key clicks, up, down, left, right, select, etc., and sends those up to the platform. Platform updates the video, sends it down to the device. And that all happens very, very quickly. So the key benefits, obviously, are since the browser is in the cloud, you're building for one device, not many, many. There are some services out there that are maintaining upwards of multiple hundreds of clients and code bases for the various devices out there. It is all web-based authoring, standard HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, everything you're doing today for either mobile applications or web development. And it is a single browser type. We're built on the WebKit core. So we use a lot of Chrome for debugging and initial developing. And it really is a code once, publish all. So you can code once, you can deploy to cable operator environments, just as well as connected devices. And that reduces app publishing and authoring time substantially, upwards of about 80%. And also extends the lifespan and the life expectancy of devices, because you don't have to upgrade the processing power and the ability to decode and render these applications on a device. It's just decoding video. So how our platform is positioned, it really allows us to do some unique things. Especially in cable environments where we can access customer billing systems, we can access VOD systems, we can tap into all of those services. And regardless if the content comes from the web, local environment, device API, it all comes through and is composited and stitched together on our CloudTV H5 platform, sent across either QAM for cable environments or IP for connected devices, and then decoded and displayed on that device. And you use the standard remote that you use today. If it's cable environment, you don't even have to have internet connectivity. It comes right across that standard RG6 cable that you already have in place. So the advantages to the platform, it really, again, it's rendered in the cloud. Browsers there, not in the device. You can code for one single instance and go across the multiple devices for a single browser type. So it even has advantages over web development, where you have a number of web browsers out there. And resolutions. We also have fixed resolutions. We know pretty much that it's going to be SD or HD for the US, or one of the PAL formats and resolutions for the European markets. There's no need to support multiple native code bases. You support one code base. That single code base distributes out to every platform that's out there. And very low latency. On our platform itself, it's 66 milliseconds. That typically translates over the network and the internet under 500 milliseconds. Our platform itself introduces about 66 milliseconds. The rest all comes from latency and network connectivity and elsewhere. And you can leverage existing assets. Like I mentioned before, you can tap into your existing web services and APIs and such that you've already developed. There's no need for special encoding. That's another challenge in building all these web apps. What device am I, what format, what codec. We ingest all of that. If it's a typical format that's out on the web, we can ingest that and we convert it into stitchable MPEG so that it goes into our fully composited video that goes out. And you can tap into any ad delivery service out there, social networking APIs, any number of things that are out there, billing systems, even transactions. We have applications with HSN where they're performing transactions right on the television set. So really, the possibilities are endless. And we do conform to the W3C web standards for HTML5, JavaScript, and CSS. Distribution today, we're on about 10 million screens, and that's worldwide. We're in US on a number of the cable operators, as well as Europe with Ziggo, PCCW out of Asia. We have relationships with manufacturers, Funai for the Philips lineup, and we're delivering a lot of content there. We just recently did a deal with a company called Net2TV. They're delivering an application called Portico. Very interesting application. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's they're compiling a lot of content that exists today from various providers and putting that together in a mosaic and distributing it out to these connected TVs. So it really is, it's sort of, as they're calling it, full live programming. So it is, it's positioned just like it's a network experience, but you have a user choice in what you want to play. So I thought I'd show you a couple of examples rather than, hopefully these videos play with the resolution change and everything. We'll see. So, but what we can do is visually rich UIs. So for cable environments or connected devices, that's things like VOD or web video content. Rather than the traditional list or the grid of text-heavy content, we can do visually rich experiences and display more metadata about the content, or poster art, or even trailers right within that same UI. And the mosaics, like I mentioned, the Portico application, where you're pulling in content from various sources and putting them together in either a genre-based mosaic or another theme-based mosaic. So you could do a sports, a kids, a news, or what they've done with Portico is a tech, and they even have a cooking called Chow, which is all about food and preparation and such. Really, it's great stuff. And then the Olympics application, which is what I like to refer to as the perfect storm of applications. That sat in the cable environment. We tapped into the VOD content, we tapped into web content, we pulled Twitter social networking feeds in, and live networking feeds into a mosaic, and put it all together into one interactive channel experience. And we got the go word on that, I would say 60 days before we launched it. So development time really is web speed on this platform. Let's cross our fingers and hope that this works. So this will be a Vive UI, and of course it's too big now. So you can pretend you can see the cursor off to the left. But what this does is it allows you to browse the various categories and then drill deeper into it. And this is all coming across a single composited video stream to the device being decoded on a cable set-top box, rendered on our platform. It's pulling the metadata from their traditional VOD platform and also taps into their billing system. So if you come in here and you click on rents, it'll go in, you have the ability to choose SD or HD, and it adds that right to your package, and then you move on and you play the video out. So the power of being positioned in the cloud like that really allows us to tap into other services. Search is all happening in real time via an API that they've published and produced for multiple platforms. Same backend is driving their Xbox experience and other applications as well. The Portico application that I mentioned a while ago. This is currently deployed on Philips TVs. You have a newer model Philips TV with their Net TV experience. You can click on that button and access the Portico application. There's audio with this. I apologize if you can't hear it. To
the latest in science and technology. I'm Olivia Spratz. If you're looking, this episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Crash Plan. Welcome.
So what we're doing there is audio chasing. As you focus on the different videos, the audio chases so you can hear the audio from the source that you focused on. And mosaics really, that's really the strength of our platform. I don't know of another platform that can do mosaics as well as we can do it, because we are compositing everything in the cloud and pushing it out over one single video stream. So the processing power required to do this on a set-top box or a connected device would be pretty high end. And you can do this from the lowest end of boxes out there, even old like DCT 2000 boxes in the cable environment, which the operators are trying to figure out how to get those out of the field, and we can deliver experiences like these. And then this is the Olympics app I referred to a little bit ago that we put together in about 60 days' time. So all of these tiles, unlike the portico, this one is not audio chasing. The decision was made here to allow the user to select which one they wanted to put in focus up in the larger space. And we were also pulling in content, medal counts, news feeds. That was all coming from the web, existing RSS feeds and XML files that were published for the web applications. We pulled into this application experience. And again, this was deployed to cable operator, no additional connectivity. Box type was of no matter. It just decoded the video. Everything was done in the head end. And then if you clicked on one of the larger tile, it would actually tune to that network. So it allowed users in a quick snapshot to see what was on for the Olympics. You know, during that 2-week or whatever the period is window, you're always curious what's on tonight. And here you could just tune to this mosaic and you would see exactly what was available to watch on that evening across the various networks. So the development workflow, like I mentioned earlier, it's really, if you're developing web applications, mobile applications, it's really similar to what you're doing today. You don't really have to alter your workflow. There's no proprietary SDK involved. It's standard web standards-based HTML development. You can use existing tools today, Eclipse, Aptana, Dreamweaver, even Notepad if you want. And it's built on the WebKit browser foundation. So even our internal group develops in Chrome quite extensively. Early development happens in Chrome. You can do your quick iterative development there, testing. If it works in Chrome, most of the time it'll work just as you see it in there on our platform. It is standards-based. You can even use the Chrome developer tools for debugging and things like that. And there's a developer community site that we have. There's additional tools available there. There's sample code. There's some JavaScript libraries that we've put together to help third-party developers quickly put their apps together. We also have what we call CloudTV Player. That's it's sort of an emulator. That's a strong word to use for it because it really doesn't have the functionality of a set-top box or a connected device. But it does allow you to see exactly what the application is going to look like on our platform. And you can operate it just as you would with a remote, either with your keyboard on your computer or we have a virtual remote in the application itself. And there's a sandbox environment available, again, at the dev community. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to go there and register and download the tools, check out the sample codes, some of the available information that we have there. And we're just starting to launch a developer program that we're calling CloudTV Access. We've been doing a lot of this development work internally to date. We have a studio team based out of LA that builds a lot of the applications for the operators and the connected devices and such. We also have some third-party developers that we've worked with to date. The Portico app is a good example. That's where a customer actually licensed our platform and they've become sort of a virtual operator. They built their own applications. We assisted them in that effort. We have a number of other third-party development resources that we tap into, and they've built a number of applications. But we're really looking to expand that. As we're getting broader and broader distribution, our internal team can't scale to support all of this activity. So we want to encourage more developers to come and play on our platform and create the best experiences possible out there in the interactive TV space. So the overview of what we're going to put together, we're going to provide training and support, assistance with a first app creation for you. We have established relationships with a lot of the operators, some of the manufacturers. We'll help you make the introductions, even to the other virtual operators like the Net2 TVs. Try and help you get out there and get your applications in place. And the benefits are you get a development sandbox to yourself. We provide a shared sandbox environment. We'll take that a step farther and try and get you on a dedicated sandbox that you can play with, do whatever you want with. It's going to depend on the complexity of your application, of course. And you'll get a pre-configured development device that you can plug in, connect to a TV, and also prefer developer status with referrals and such. As we have an operator or a programmer or a content provider come to us and say, hey, we want to build this application, we can make those introductions and provide those referrals for you. And also in future events, we're looking to do more events like this, as well as our own standalone events, Hackfest, whatever you want to call them. We're going to have more and more of those. So these key providers and partners will be able to participate in those events along with us. There will be limited availability to this sort of premier level of this, so I encourage you, if you're interested, to go to the developer community, sign up, provide your information, and we'll get back in touch with you. And that's available at developer.activevideo.com. It's up there on live today. And then contact information with the websites, my contact info and such. So I wanted to leave time in the end, which looks like it did, good, for Q&A, because I figured most of you wouldn't be familiar with this platform and there would be more questions than I could possibly answer in a PowerPoint. So I wanted to just kind of leave it open-ended at the end. So if there's any questions.
I'm wondering what kind of computing power is necessary for things as you scale the amount of feeds that you're looking into. What kind of specs or memory or whatnot?
So the good news is, from the developer perspective, it's transparent. You don't have to worry about that. Our platform is providing all of that scalability. We have the infrastructure in place in the cloud or the head end, depending if it's a cable operator or a connected device, and we provide all of that scalability. We're getting per blade, per RU, it can go up to about 1,200 sessions per RU, depending on the more complex apps, obviously, that reduces that scalability. But we're handling all of that for the developer. There's no concern from the developer perspective.
And what kind of feeds are you able to plug into it? Is it just, can you do like YouTube videos? Can you do web-based TV type shows? Or?
Yeah, so we've done a lot with Revision 3. We've done things with Blip TV, even YouTube we're showing. Any video source and codec that's used commonly on the web, we can ingest and transcode it. It does have to be converted to our stitchable MPEG format, so we can place it within the application environment. We can handle all of those formats.
Is it able to be done on a live stream basis almost, or almost?
Yeah, it can be done either live or pre-ingested. Depends on the type of content and the breadth of content. We have both models available.
And then to get stuff like that, I guess you should, depending on the content, you want to talk to that provider of content and approach them and say, we want to feature you in this.
Yeah, from our perspective, we're not providing any of the licensing rights to the content, right. So that would be up to the developer or the application author.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I think you may have just answered that question. So if you develop something, you've got your screens, you've got your channels, various channels, but could you also have an alternate video source, which would be like the kids' room and the kitchen and the driveway, that kind of thing?
Yeah, you could do that. In fact, one of the cable operators we're working with is interested in using our platform for home security. They also have a home security offering. So they're looking to leverage those various video streams into a Mosaic-like application on our platform. So yeah, that can absolutely be done. As long as it's a video stream or video source, we can use it on our platform.
Great, thanks.
Hi. How is your technologies different from the technology of cloud gaming players like the Gaikai and Playcast? And I just wonder if they're easily chasing your technology. I just wonder.
That's a great question. They're a little different in the base model of the technology. Ours is built more around content, video-focused content, and scalability. The gaming platforms, such as the Gaikais or the OnLives, are built more about very low latency, a one-to-one experience, lower scalability, and lower latency, so that they can deliver the gaming experiences. So there are some similarities, but at the core, they're very different technologies. Does that answer your question?
Your technology? I mean, Gaikai and Playcast, they can, I just wonder if they can easily chase your technology if they decide to enter into your market space.
I don't think so. Primarily in the cable industry. It's taken us many years, if not decades, to forge those relationships with the cable operators. And it's not an easy nut to crack. So we're well-footed in that industry right now. And again, at the core, the technologies are very different. We were, from day one, very focused on scalability and how do we scale to high numbers to where we can support 1,200 sessions per RU. On the gaming side, it's not uncommon with a couple of those to have a one-to-one relationship, one RU to one user. So it's very, very different. I think for them, either direction, for us to go the direction they are, or for them to come our direction, I think it would be very difficult.
Thank you so much.
I was just curious on the, obviously pending approval of this from a legal perspective, but is there any recording capability of this? Can you archive anything that is being streamed?
To archive the app experience, you mean?
No, the video feeds, like a DVR kind of functionality.
So in the video content coming in, that would be part of
Yes.
an application? Yeah, so we have two models. One, we can transcode in real time the source coming in and make that available for models like a YouTube video, for example. Part of their terms of use, you can't cache any of their content. So you would have to follow that real-time transcoding model in that scenario. Other scenarios where you have content, we're working with a couple of providers, Portico, another example, where there's a lot of content, and they have a library of content that they're scheduling updates for, and they're going out on a scheduled basis. So those types of feeds and assets we're pre-ingesting and making available in our system. So it's a little more scalable that way. As long as you have a predictable schedule, publishing schedule, that's definitely the preferred path to take there. I think that's what you were asking. You weren't so much asking about the DVR on the output side, right?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
And another thing is advertising. That's one thing I didn't include in here. We can do some very interesting things with advertising in interactive TV space. We've had a couple of proof of concepts that we put together where we're able to, in real time, generate QR codes on the screen. User can take their mobile device, and let's face it, even if you provide the best of functionality in an interactive TV app, people still have two screens. So we're taking advantage of that. They can snap a picture of the QR code, go wherever they need to go. If it's a URL to a website, a sweepstakes entry, whatever it is. We can also do sweepstakes entries directly in our applications. We've done that before. There's also another proof of concept that we put together where we could assemble a shopping cart from a weekly ad or a weekly flyer from like a Target or a Walmart or whatever the store may be. Put that together and then submit it, and the shopping cart goes to your cell phone and you can complete the transaction. So there's really powerful stuff we can do here, being that we're connected to the internet. I don't have them here on my system. If you're interested, you can contact me, and I'll try and show you some of that stuff. Yeah, it's the easiest way to get me. Even a few minutes early. Nice. So the question is, what is our business model? For us, our business model, we position our relationships with the cable operators, the device manufacturers, or in the case of Portico with Net2TV, where they're licensing our platform. We're not looking to reach our hand in the pot for every application that goes out there. Our relationships are with the distribution. So for the application developers that come in, that would require a relationship with either the cable operator, the device manufacturer, or the other publisher that may be on our platform already. And we can help facilitate those conversations. But we're definitely not involved with each and every application that's out there as far as our business model. Ours is more at the foundation level, at the distribution.